Coach Phillips up.
How's everybody?
Hey, Coach.
Okay. I was a little dead this morning like we was. Huh?
Brian, you want to start us off?
Yeah. Coach, just want to ask you, as we're now in fourth week of camp, just talk about your group and how you feel like they're progressing and kind of who's emerging for you.
Well, it's kind of hard to talk about one guy. I just think the group is progressing as a whole. On the way up here, I just started thinking about some things. Guys are maturing the way because it's a younger group, younger than what we had last year. Then we got some new guys that came in. Obviously have to play or meet the expectation level of being here. And so those guys are starting to understand that. So I'm really pleased right now where we're at, but I still believe we got a long ways to go.
Tyler, go ahead.
Coach, you've obviously seen the flashes with Omari in the last couple of years. What's the key for him to putting it all together and making sure he can be a guy that can do that on a week-to-week basis?
Practice habits. He's got to practice better. He's got to practice with the level of consistency that we're asking him to do, the expectation. I mean, like I told him this morning, man, we get ups and downs, we get blimps and glimpses of what he's capable on game day. If he can practice that way, then it will be a much better player. So he needs to continue to just work hard and practice at a consistent level.
Adam, go ahead.
How many receivers do you envision being part of the rotation?
That's a great question. I envision everybody in the room. Right now, I feel real comfortable with 8 to probably 11 guys. So I'm really comfortable with that. I think a lot of people have asked this question, how do you replace the guys that left, with Travis Hunter, LaJonte, and Will Shepard and Jimmy Horn? You don't replace those guys. But what we can do is replace the production. So I think if we got enough players in that room that I feel comfortable with and playing, that we can probably get close to or surpass the production we had last year.
Nikki, go ahead.
What are you kind of seeing from Sincere Brown this season?
Yeah, fall camp, just the same thing I've been saying earlier. Obviously he's learning what the expectation of being here is, right? And so he's continuing to mature in that area. And, right now, so far so good. If he continues to do that and eliminate some of the mental mistakes, I think we'll be pleased with what we have in Sincere.
Neely, go ahead.
Coach, speaking of expectations and learning how to be here, you don't treat your freshmen like freshmen.
No, they got to play. No, there's no such thing as freshmen being freshmen here. Obviously, the way we recruit, the mantra that Coach Prime, when we recruit a freshman and bring them in, we expect them to play. So that's a maturity level too. They got to understand the expectation and what the other guys' standard in the room is, and they've got to meet that expectation because every freshman we brought in here so far has had an opportunity to play. So we got to get those guys ready to play immediately.
And in that regard, have you seen growth since spring to now?
Absolutely. I'm very pleased with Q and X, Quentin, for you guys that don't know the nicknames. Quentin Gibson and obviously Farrakhan Jr., they're doing extremely well right now, adapting to what's going on. So at some point in time, we'll see those guys, but I want to make sure we do it the right way. Just take our time in our development, just like we did Draylon last year. And so, hopefully around week 3, 4, or 5, we'll be ready to put those guys in and insert those guys so they can make plays for us.
Leo, go ahead.
What have you seen from the blocking ability from your guys outside?
You know what? That's a great question too, man. I think the bigger guys we have in here, the expectation is for us to get it done on the perimeter. So I'm really pleased with where we are in that regard right now. So I have no disappointment of where we at. I don't think there'd be a problem. It's blocking to me as a want to. We don't do any drills for it, to be quite honest with you. To me, that's internal. You want to play football, that's football. So if you want to do it, you'll be able to do it if you want to.
Back, go
Yeah, a similar question about the blocking. We've heard this team is going to run the ball more this year. Are they being asked or challenged to do more in terms of blocking downfield?
Absolutely. There's no such thing as explosive plays in the run game without receivers blocking downfield. So that is our obligation. That is our expectation. So I expect those guys to be more involved in that. I would love to. As a receivers coach, I have I'm not going to shy away from blocking. I want us to understand that that's a part of the game we play. So they have to be willing and able to do that. And so far, so good. They've been willing and able.
Couple more, Brian, go ahead.
Coach, I want to ask about Jack Estera, who was here before you guys got here and he's come back now. I know he's missed a little bit of camp, but what are you seeing out of him? Could he be a guy in that rotation?
I look for Jack to be what we call a Swiss Army knife, a guy jack of all trades. That's a good one. I'm very pleased with what Jack is. I think Jack is also one of those guys that asks a lot of questions on how to get better and what he can do. I think he's going to be a major contributor for us on special teams, and then that'll parlay in getting him some playing time on offense. But I'm very pleased. I'm very confident in what Jack can bring to the table.
Scott, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, there's obviously a lot of like new faces in your room, but Isaiah Hard is one of those returning guys who seemingly had a really good spring. How have you kind of seen him develop and grow throughout fall camp?
Just continuing to do what he did this spring. I think he got a little down on himself when we first started fall camp. I don't think a lot of people understand. Some people are not used to being in the driver's seat, and that's just an expectation. That's something that we have to know as coaches what that personality is, and just kind of wean him into it. And so I think he's back where he was in the spring for us, and we just got to continue to develop him from that standpoint.
Keely, go ahead.
Coach, you got a room of about 17, and so far we only have one injury. What's been the secret sauce to keep these guys healthy but participating?
Well, just kind of monitoring the reps of those guys and just making sure that we're not overloading guys. I think the biggest part of what we started in camp, Coach Schott and I decided to do was just get a rotation of guys. So there's no ones, twos, or threes. Everybody take 2 or 3 reps and just keep it rolling. So it didn't matter who the quarterback was. So we had the luxury to do that this year. So we was able to kind of save legs and kind of get guys through camp doing it that way.
2 more, Rylan, go ahead.
What's impressed you most about Joseph Williams so far?
His ability to just make big plays. I mean, obviously, Joseph came in here. It was a freshman. Was a great player last year at Tulsa, and so we're excited about what Joseph is bringing to the table. His ability to make 50-50 contested catches and make plays downfield. I rely on Joseph in those situations. So, just his ability to do that has been great for us so far.
Jake, close this up.
Coach, obviously with the quarterback competition, just wondering if that affects your job at all, and some of these new guys coming in trying to fit into the program, just having to deal with 2 guys really rotating in a quarterback.
No, I think our job as receivers is to make whoever's in there look good. I mean, that's one of the things that I preach to those guys. I don't really care who's in the game. As a receiver, once it leaves his hands, it becomes our responsibility at that point to make the plays. So no, we don't really care about that, and we're not going to focus on that. It's just when the ball leaves his hand, when the ball's in the air, is our opportunity to go make a play. So I expect all those guys to make plays regardless of who's the quarterback.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.